Indonesia's economy is projected to be only in the range of minus 1.1% to 0.12%. Royke Tumilar, who is the former President Director of State-owned Bank Mandiri, has been appointed to lead the Bank Negara Indonesia. Good afternoon, viewers in Indonesia and Singapore. Market Headlines is ready to provide you a number of informations from business, economic, and capital market sector. With Nicola Rantawijaya, and this is Market Headlines. And yes, viewers, Government of Indonesia watch out the 2020 economic projections of Indonesia, whereas it is predicted that economic projections in 2020 only hit minus 1.1% up to 0.2%.
The gloomy economic movement prompted the government to change its estimated economic growth rate again this year. Initially, the government estimated that economic growth will be in the range of minus 0.4% up to positive 2.3%, but this was revised to minus 1.1% up to positive 0.2%. Finance Minister Sri Mulyani said that based on data up to August, economic growth would be lower than expected several months ago, with an estimate that household consumption side will only be in the range of minus 1.3 to 0%. Government consumption is in the range of 2 to 4%. Investment is in the range of minus 2.6 to 4.2%. Export minus 5.6 to minus 4.4%. And imports minus 8.4 to minus 5.5%. So that growth will be in the range of minus 1.1 to positive 0.2%.
Keuangan memproyeksikan untuk tahun 2020, maka prediksi kita adalah pada proyeksi minus 1,1 hingga 0,2%. Lower end dari prediksi kita menunjukkan bahwa mungkin di kuartal ketiga kita mungkin masih mengalami negative growth dan bahkan mungkin kuartal keempat juga masih dalam zona sedikit di bawah netral.
For the next year, the government sets economic targets in the range of 4.5 to 5.5%. Economic recovery will also depend on controlling COVID-19 and the success of vaccines, as well as accelerating structural reforms to increase productivity, competitiveness, and the investment climate and fiscal capacity in supporting the National Economic Recovery Program. From Jakarta, Raharjo Patmo for IDX Channel.
And yes, viewers, President Joko Widodo stated that Bank Indonesia or the central bank will remain independent after a panel of experts advising the parliament.
Indonesian President Joko Widodo pledged that Bank Indonesia or the central bank would remain independent after a panel of experts advising Parliament recommended ministers be given voting rights at monetary policy meeting. In proposals that could amount to the biggest shake-up of the monetary authority in 2 decades, the panel also suggested economic growth and employment be added to Bank Indonesia's mandate, among other amendments to Indonesia's central bank law. Analysts have warned that the proposals could raise questions over central bank's independence and Indonesia's track record of prudent macroeconomic policymaking. Meantime, due to the new proposal, financial market has responded. It can be seen on rupiah exchange rate that fell by 1.6% on Wednesday to trade at 14,800 a dollar, the weakest since August 18. The weakening movement triggered Bank Indonesia intervene to smooth rupiah volatility, as stated by Nanang Hendarsa, Bank Indonesia's head of monetary management. From all sources, for IDX Channel.
And yes, viewers, as there is a discourse regarding premium and Pertalite eliminations, and here it is, Pertamina finally gave its response, whereas only governments that handle decisions, but after all, Pertamina is only the distributor of the fuel. Pertamina Persero dismissed the discourse on eliminating premium and Pertalite. Company clearly stated that this is out of company's league because full authority of fuel eliminations belongs to government. And Pertamina, in this case, only a distributor. Vice President Corporate Communications of Pertamina, Fajar Wayong, stated that the Pertamina keeps distributing Pertalite and premium to public because government still says to do so. Other than that, productions and distributions keeps being Pertamina's main priority.
Hingga saat ini, Pertamina masih menyalurkan premium dan mengingat ini adalah penugasan pemerintah, maka Pertamina berkomitmen untuk menjalankannya dengan sebaik-baiknya. Di samping menyediakan premium, Pertamina juga menyalurkan jenis BBM lainnya termasuk Pertalite. Sampai saat ini, produksi maupun penyaluran seluruh produk BBM berjalan dengan baik, termasuk program BBM satu harga ke daerah 3T.
However, in order to support the global agenda to reduce emissions levels, Pertamina keeps educating consumers to pick better fuel with better quality and environmental friendly. Jakarta, Wicky Adrian for IDX Channel. The world has the need to cut down the emissions, and so does Indonesia, and therefore there is a discourse to eliminating the Pertalite and premium within the research octane that under 91. In accordance with the regulations of the Minister of Environment and Forestry number 20 of 2017 concerning emissions quality standard, gasoline that must be sold to the public must at least with the research octane number of 91. This means when referring to regulations, then there should no longer be any fuel types under research octane number 91 being sold to the public. Fuel type with the octane number above 91, for instance, Pertamax or Pertamax Plus or even Pertamax Turbo. But if the government eliminates fuel with octane number under 91, which in this case there are premium and Pertalite, then how the public will react?
Kita sebagai masyarakat cuma minta satu hal, ketersediaan aja. Mau BBM itu RON 90 kek, RON 88 premium kek, Pertamax ataupun Pertalite kek. Yang penting buat saya masyarakat ada di SPBU.
Pertamax setuju. Kalau untuk premium jangan, karena kan untuk skala menengah. Lihat juga untuk risiko ekonomi ini sekarang kan, apalagi COVID-19 ini untuk pendapatan masyarakat kan berkurang. Ya kalau untuk premium jangan dihapuskan. Kalau bisa ya jangan dihapus tapi bisa diturunkan.
As public tends to disagree, Pertamina delivered strong notes. Vice President Corporate Communications of Pertamina, Fajar Wayong, stated that Pertamina keeps distributing Pertalite and premium to the public until government stops to do so. Jakarta, Gilang Praditya for IDX Channel. And as viewers, stay tuned to market headlines because we will be right back with the news coverage regarding recovery in aviation industry in Indonesia. So stay tuned.
IDX Channel, the Indonesia Stock Exchange channel, is the authorized capital market channel in Indonesia. To give references to global investors, IDX Channel also presented the news about the dynamic of Indonesia's economy, business, and capital market in English. IDX Channel also have different types of programs. They are Special Dialogue, Market Opening, Market Review, IDX First Session Closing, IDX Second Session Closing, Market Headlines, and News Screen. IDX Channel is aired 24 hours a day with 5 hours live program from Indonesia Stock Exchange trading floor. Our vision and mission as the only capital market TV channel in Indonesia that is committed to improve the capital market knowledge in the country. News that had been delivered on IDX Channel can also be seen on our digital platforms, so you can give yourself an update about informations anywhere and everywhere. IDX Channel can be watched through Vision Channel, First Media Channel, IndiHome Channel, and Vision Plus, and also live streaming on idxchannel.com. IDX Channel provides information from around the world from different perspectives. We provide you various investment strategies, stock options, inspiring figures for your business references. IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic, business, and capital market channel.
And yes, viewers, there's a good news comes from aviation industry in Indonesia, because the latest data shows that Indonesia's aviation industry is showing recovery in the midst of pandemic. And one of main driver is about public trust in air transportations during the amidst the COVID-19 pandemic.
Indonesian aviation industry is starting to recover. One of the main drivers is increasing public trust on air transportation amidst COVID-19 pandemic. The movement of passengers and aircraft began to show recovery in the period from July to August 2020. It cannot be denied that the national aviation industry had collapsed due to COVID-19 pandemic. The period from April to May 2020 reached its lowest point due to the imposition of large-scale social restrictions. Chairman of the Indonesian National Air Carriers Association, Denon Prawiratmaja, said that currently aviation industry players in the country can finally breathe a sigh of relief because currently the movement of passengers and aircraft has started to improve. The movement has started from June to August 2020. Denon admits that this growth is inseparable from the efforts of the government together with the entire ecosystem in the aviation industry in making a regulation that can restore productivity activities through a rule known as the new health protocol at the airport and on the plane. From all sources, for IDX Channel.
The Indonesian aviation industry shows a good sign of recovery, whereas in the last 2 months there's a showing of recovery even amidst the pandemic, but then aviation industry going so far in the well conditions. And therefore, before we talk further about that, let me show you the global aviation industry overview through the next graphic. Here it is. Through your screen we can see the global aviation industry that going really well in 2020, even in the last 2 months. Here it is. Through your screen, we can see the conditions of the global aviation industry. Whereas we can assess that the global airlines amidst COVID-19 pandemic, if we can take a look from the revenue in 2019, of course, it's in the number of 838 billion US dollar. Far if we compare with the revenue in 2020, whereas it's only 419 billion US dollar. But if we take a look in 2019, there is a profit of 26 billion US dollar, but however, in 2020, it posted significant loss of 84.3 billion US dollar. And then on its projections, the International Air Transport Associations, or IATA, predicts that the global passengers traffic will not return to pre-COVID-19 levels until 2024, which is pretty bad. IATA predicts that Asia Pacific Airlines will experience the biggest losses in 2020 of up to 29 billion US dollar, or it is the largest of the other region. In addition to the International Air Transport Association stated that the airlines that do not have domestic routes are expected to recover in the longer time. In addition, until the end of the first half, almost all airlines reported their bloody performances. Some have even registered for bankruptcy, such as Virgin Australia, Avianca Holding, and also their Airways. Amidst the heavy pandemic pressure on the aviation industry, it turns out the latest data show that the Indonesian aviation industry is starting to recover. To get a clearer view, right in your screen, let's take a look at the next graphic. Here it is, you can see through your screen about Indonesia overview regarding about this. Here we can see there's two indicators between domestic and international. Let's assess first from the domestic ones. In June 2020, there is a passenger number of 620,000, but in July, it increased significantly to be 1,460,000 passengers. Moving on to international level, we can assess that in June 2020, there were 20,000 passenger number, but in July 2020, it went up to be 30,000 passengers. So we can assess from the domestic level, there is a gain up 135% month on month, while international, there is a gain up of 57% month on month. And here it is. We can assess that unfortunately the monthly data does not reflect the annual growth, where when it's compared to the positions in July 2019, we talk about the last year, the number of domestic aircraft passengers decreased by 79.58% year on year, while the number of international flight passengers until July this year fell off by 98.4% year on year. Meantime, after announcing the latest data on the aviation industry, the head of Central Strategic Agency, Suharyanto, hopes that the transportation sector will return to normal. This is, of course, requires support from various parties in order to reduce the COVID-19 cases. Even though it has shown a recovery, the financial performance of domestic airlines is still negative until the end of the first half of this year. So, how are the performance of these airlines? The information is on the next graphic. Through your screen and the next graphic, we can see the performance of domestic airlines. We can assess it by seeing the fact that the financial performance of Garuda Indonesia deeply fell really hard in the first half of 2020. Whereas if we talk about 2019, in the first half, it posted 24 million US dollar revenue. But however, in the first half of 2020, in the other hand, it posted negative 712 million US dollar. And then regarding the bloody performance of Garuda Indonesia due to the pandemic, the government has planned to provide a stimulus fund of 8.5 trillion rupiah. But however, the president director of Garuda Indonesia stated that the company has not received an economic stimulus from the government, and the director acknowledged that the company's financial conditions is very tough. And previously, Garuda Indonesia was hit by debt repayment difficulties after negotiating with the company's sukuk holders. In addition, Garuda has also carried out massive efficiencies, starting from laying off contract employees and cutting directors' salaries and asking for relief from leasing companies after requesting rescheduling of the debt repayments. And apart from the state-owned airlines, private airlines have also reported depressed performance due to the pandemic. And to be clearer, let's go to the next graphic. Through your screen, we can see the depressed performance due to the pandemic. Here it is, we can see it is quite bloody. And AirAsia Indonesia has stopped its scheduled flight operations from April to June 18th for the 3 months. It's pretty sad. And however, since June 19th, 2020, AirAsia Indonesia has reopened 11 domestic and international flight routes. Since a number of routes were opened, the company reported a growth in the number of orders of more than 400%. The management hopes that this growth can improve the company's performance at the end of 2020. And meanwhile, the company previously projected that 2020 net profit and revenue could be declined up to 51 up to 75%. And viewers, stay tuned on market headlines because we will be right back after this quick break. Welcome back to Market Headlines. Royke Tumilar, as a former President Director of Mandiri, right now has been appointed as the President Director of Bank Negara Indonesia. Indonesian State-Owned Enterprises Minister Erick Thohir has officially appointed former Bank Mandiri President Director Royke Tumilar as new Bank Negara Indonesia President Director. He will replace Heri Sidarta, who served as BNI President Director for only 7 months from February. Through virtual press briefing, he said that he would help BNI to provide more funding to infrastructure projects and reach its target to become the bank with the best international business in the country.
Saya ingin menyampaikan bahwa hasil siang ini saya ditunjuk menjadi Direktur Utama BNI. Nanti pasti teman-teman tanya bahwa kenapa saya memang ini adalah suatu tugas, suatu amanah yang diberikan oleh pemegang saham dalam hal ini Kementerian BUMN yang ditugaskan untuk memimpin suatu bank yang punya sejarah panjang sejak tahun 1946 yang rasanya ini suatu buat saya juga suatu membanggakan dikasih kesempatan untuk memimpin bank ini.
However, Royke did not explain specifically the targets given to him by shareholders. So Royke stated that he would not change the target that has been stated previously set during the current pandemic. But even so, improvements would be made in order to meet shareholders' expectations. Jakarta, Ricky Awardi for IDX Channel. Two times in a row, IDX Channel has successfully held a yearly award ceremony so-called Anugerah Inovasi Indonesia. This awarding event is formed to appreciate companies with the best innovations, and here it is, IDX Channel 2020 Anugerah Inovasi Indonesia, that took place on Wednesday, as the award ceremony took place virtually as companies celebrated their Innovations Award during the pandemic. Business innovations matters for one simple reason, which is value. In order for business to thrive, it's crucial to be continually innovating and improving. Therefore, IDX Channel appreciates all companies that keep innovating, even in the midst of pandemic. Met after the award ceremony, Director of IDX Channel, Aprevita Wulansari, said that the innovations carried out this time was very different from the previous year. Whereas this year, participants are not only listed companies, but all types of companies.
Saya sangat berharap inovasi-inovasi yang sudah menjadi pemenang ataupun yang tidak menjadi pemenang, atau ya memang tidak ada menang dan kalah, tetapi paling tidak ada yang terbaik, ada yang memang masih biasa-biasa saja, tetap selalu berinovasi dan tetap menjaga inovasinya dan tetap membiarkan inovasi itu terus berkembang, sehingga paling tidak inovasi ini.
Here it is an update data about coronavirus globally. And the news close our market headlines today. Please enjoy our next program on IDX Channel, your trustworthy economic business and capital market channel. I'm Clara Antawijaya. Have a nice evening and stay safe.